I'm sure you have felt this strange sensation in the solitary hours when the world falls away. A subtle unease, a whisper that the way you're living is not quite your own way of living. This feeling is heavy, but it is the first stirring of awakening, the crack in the dream. I remember when the dream first broke for me. I was a young man, full of fire and questions, walking through the streets of a city that seemed to hum with purpose. Everyone around me moved with such conviction. They hurried to work, argued about politics, fell in love, and fell out of it. And yet, beneath the noise, I could hear something hollow, a mechanical quality to their movements, a predictability to their joys and sorrows. They were like puppets, and the strings were invisible. We live in a world that is carefully constructed to keep us asleep. Not asleep in the ordinary sense, but asleep in our souls. The great machine of society has been designed to produce human beings who work, consume, reproduce, and die. It has no interest in human beings who wake. A waking person is unpredictable. A waking person cannot be controlled. And so the machine does everything it can to keep us dreaming. Consider the great cities of the West, the temples of commerce and progress. They shine with lights, they pulse with energy, and they promise everything. But look closer, and you will see the same patterns repeating everywhere. The same anxieties, the same ambitions, the same desperate grasping after status and security. We are born into this system, and we absorb its values before we can speak. We learn to want what we are told to want. We learn to fear what we are told to fear, and become excellent servants of the machine while believing this is freedom. There is a film that was made many years after my time, a film about a man who discovers that his entire world is a simulation. He has lived his whole life in a cocoon of illusion, and when he is finally given the choice to see reality as it is, he takes it. He swallows the red pill and wakes to a world that is harsh, ugly, and terrifying. But it is real, and the reality, even in its most difficult form, is preferable to the most beautiful dream that keeps us away from the truth. This is the choice that faces every human being who begins to suspect that something is wrong. You can continue living comfortably in the dream, accepting its rules and pleasures, or you can begin the long and difficult work of waking. The work is not easy. It asks everything of you. It asks you to question the very foundations of your identity and look at your beliefs as if they were the beliefs of a stranger. It makes us examine our desires and ask where they truly come from. The first step is to see that we are mechanical as a simple observation. Most human beings are machines. They react to stimuli in predictable ways. They say what they have been programmed to say and feel what they have been conditioned to feel. Thoughts arise from somewhere beneath their awareness, and they mistake them for their own creations. The work of transformation, the work I taught to my students, begins with the recognition that we are not who we think we are. The person we believe ourselves to be is a construction, a collection of habits and reactions that have been assembled over a lifetime. Beneath this construction lies something authentic and something that has never been touched by the machine. To find this essence is the purpose of the work. In the movie, the hero must train his mind and body to operate in a world that does not follow the rules he was raised with. He must learn to bend the spoon, to see the code, and to move through the matrix with a freedom that was previously impossible. This is an accurate description of what the work requires of us. We must train ourselves to see through the illusions that surround us. We must develop new faculties of perception, new ways of being in the world. The ordinary senses are not enough. The ordinary mind is not enough. We must develop a higher consciousness, a deeper awareness that can penetrate the veil of appearances. This is where my methods come in, the movements and the attention exercises. These are not mere physical practices, though they appear to be. They are technologies for waking. They are ways of breaking the automatic patterns that keep us asleep. When you move your body in a way that requires you to be fully present to every gesture and every breath, you create a crack in the mechanical structure of the self. Through that crack, a new light can enter. I have seen what happens to people who begin this work. At first, they resist. The machine in them rebels against anything that threatens its dominance. They become angry, confused, and frightened. They want to go back to the dream, where everything made sense, where the old certainties held. But if they persist, if they endure the discomfort, something begins to change. A new quality of attention emerges, a new capacity for presence. They start to see the world differently. They notice things they had never noticed before. They feel things they had never felt before. The dream begins to lose its power over them. One of my students came to me after years of work and told me that she had finally understood what I was talking about. She said that she had been walking down the street one day when she suddenly realized that everyone she passed was asleep. Their eyes were open, their bodies were moving, but something essential in them was absent. They were walking through their lives like sleepwalkers, and they had no idea. She told me that this realization was both terrifying and liberating. Terrifying because she now saw the tragedy of human existence with a clarity that could not be denied. Liberating because she was no longer one of them. This is the gift that the work offers you. It offers you the chance to wake from the dream of ordinary life and to see things as they truly are. But this gift comes with a price. The price is everything you thought you were. The price is your comfortable illusions, cherished beliefs, and the sense of yourselves as free beings. You must be willing to lose all of this. By losing it, you find something that is really yours. The world we live in is a matrix of illusion. The media, the education system, the economic structures, all of these are designed to keep us asleep. They tell us who we are, what we should want, and how we should feel. They manufacture our identities and sell them back to us at a profit. To break free from this system is to become an outlaw, a heretic. It is to refuse the story that has been written for you and to begin writing your own. I have been called many things in my life. Sometimes a charlatan, a madman, a genius, and sometimes even a fraud. These labels mean nothing to me. What matters is the work. What matters is the possibility of waking. I have dedicated my life to this possibility and seen it realized in others. You who are listening to this voice must have felt the stirring of waking. You know that something is wrong. The life you are living is not the life you are meant to live. This knowing is the beginning. But the knowing must be followed by action. The knowing must be followed by work. The work begins with this simple idea. Watch yourself as you would watch a stranger. Notice your reactions, impulses, and your automatic patterns of thought and behavior. Do not judge them. Do not try to change them. Simply observe them. This observation is the first step toward freedom. It is the first moment of genuine choice. As you observe yourself, you will begin to see how you are controlled by forces you do not understand. You will see the patterns of your conditioning and the loops of your psychology. There is a quality of presence that is available to every human being. It is not a special talent that belongs to the few. It is a potential, a seed that lies dormant in us all. The work is the cultivation of this seed. It is the watering, the feeding, and the care that allows it to grow. And when it grows, it transforms the way we see the world, the way we relate to others, and the way we experience ourselves. This is the great adventure of human existence. I have seen the truth. I have touched it with my hands and felt it in my heart. It is not a knowledge that can be written in books or spoken in words. It is a knowing that comes from being, living, and from conscious suffering. It is the only knowing that matters. The machine that controls us is vast and powerful. It is the combined weight of human history, culture, and all human suffering. It is the accumulated tricks of thousands of generations, all of which have been used to keep us asleep. To resist this machine is to resist the entire weight of human civilization. But this resistance is possible. It is possible because there is something in us that is not part of the machine. There is something in us that has always been awake, waiting for us to find it. This is the great secret that I discovered in my travels and in my years of searching. The secret is that we are not actually the puppets. We are not the products of our conditioning, not the victims of our history. We are something more. We are beings with the capacity for consciousness, genuine freedom, and love. The problem is they do not come automatically. They require the work. I have taught many people over the course of my life. Some have understood, and some have not. Some have done the work, and some have given up. The ones who succeeded were the ones who refused to accept the matrix. They were the ones who insisted on the truth, no matter how painful, no matter how difficult. They were the ones who took the red pill. If you're still here listening, you might also have taken the red pill. The question is what you will do next. The question is whether you face the reality or want to get back inside the dream. The work is yours. I cannot do it for you. No one can. The teacher can point the way, but the walking must be done by the student. The work is personal and unique. We may not walk the same path, but each of us must find our own way to waking. You are not alone in this journey. Others have felt the same, stirring in their solitude and taken the red pill. We can support each other, challenge each other, and remind each other of what is possible. This is the purpose of community in the inner work. Not to create a new system of control, not to replace one matrix with another, but to hold space for the possibility of waking. The matrix is everywhere. It is in the news we consume, the products we buy, and the beliefs we hold. It is in the language we speak, emotions we express, and the identities we claim to be ours. To live in the world is to be surrounded by the matrix. The goal is not to escape from the world, but to live in it without being controlled by it. It means to live in the world with awareness, resisting the forces of sleep, the agents of the matrix.